Hello and welcome to the final week of Shifting Gears from high school to college. This is week 6, and this week we are talking about college financial aid and financial literacy. You have all become pretty familiar with financial aid throughout the course of your senior year because you had to fill out the FAFSA and scholarships and all of that, those paperwork, all of that paperwork to get ready for college. What many students don't realize or don't process is that the financial aid process continues after your senior year. You don't do it just one time. You have to do it for every year that you plan to attend college. So the FAFSA, that free application for federal student aid, the form that you filled out online to get your federal aid, which would be your loans and grants specifically, and your work study, you have to fill that out every year that you plan to attend college. So every year, starting in October, the FAFSA will open up, and the Michigan priority deadline is March 1st. And you will always use your prior tax data. So starting in October of your first year in college, you'll be able to go back into your FAFSA and upload your prior tax year data and submit that for your sophomore year, your second year of college. Then during your second year of college, you'll be able to go in and upload that data again, submit it, and send that information during your second year for your third year. And then during your third year, you'll go in and submit that file or that form for your senior year. And hopefully you'll be done within 4 years if you're going for a 4-year degree. But again, you do have to do that every year you plan to attend college. It's important to always remember October 1st, it opens up. I highly suggest you just get it done and out of the way. Make plans with your family to see who's going to handle your FAFSA, if you are going to handle it, or if your parents or guardians are going to handle it. You want to make sure you know who is handling it, who's responsible for completing it, and then so that either you can go in and sign the document after your parents and or guardians are done, or so your parents and guardians can go in and sign the document after you're done. And then always take note of the Michigan priority deadline. You want to make sure it's done by March 1st. That just makes sure that you are getting financial aid handed to you immediately when they start doling it out. So make sure you have plans to complete the FAFSA every year. Your financial aid office will also probably be reminding you about the FAFSA as well. Second thing is scholarships. Once you're in college, it's still important to continue to apply for scholarships, and also it's important to maintain scholarships. Some of your scholarships might be renewable, which means that you could reapply for them, or you may be able to continue to get them providing you maintain a certain GPA or certain academic standing or certain citizenship standing. So make sure you are aware of the requirements for your current scholarships and you are meeting those throughout your school year. And then it's always important to make sure you're being on the lookout for new scholarships. New fees could pop up, tuition may increase. That's not an uncommon thing to see at universities or colleges. So, be on the lookout for scholarships that are at your institution or your college. If maybe you're hearing about something locally, but also just be on the lookout for those national scholarships as you get those in your inbox from, College Greenlight, FastWeb, CapEx, scholarship.com. Keep applying to those. It's an important thing to do. And it's pretty easy money, especially once you get your scholarship application essays down, pat. The better of writer you become, the easier those become. All right, now we're switching from financial aid more into financial literacy. As college students, you are going to be offered and you will be targeted to get credit card offers constantly. They'll come in the mail regularly. They'll say you're already pre-approved or you can already have this credit limit. And it's a super easy hole to get yourself into, because suddenly when you don't have a lot of money, but you can get $500, easy access essentially, all in one card, it's an easy thing to do. But I just want you guys to remember, be responsible about your money, and that includes the money that you don't have, because a credit card is money you don't have. It is money that you are going to owe back. So if you have a credit card, that's not a problem. A lot of times students will go to college with a credit card, so that they have something to use in case of emergency. So if you have an emergency credit card, just make sure you're using it for that, for emergencies. In case you need new tires because you blew a hole in a tire, or because you are $100 short for textbooks. But also make sure you have a payoff plan. Make sure you are financially capable of paying that off. And again, like I said, you will be targeted. You will go into stores and they will say, well, if you apply for our card, you'll get 10% off. And we'll give you these extra things, and it'll be really easy. It'll be just a few minutes. And I know that because I used to work in retail, and that was part of my job. And I was told to target young college students, people who looked like they were 18 to 21. I was doing that before I was even 18. So you will be targeted in stores, and your information, your address and whatnot has probably been sold at some point from somebody, so that they'll send you those offers in the mail. So be very careful. Like I said, if you get one, that's okay. Just be responsible. If you don't want to get one, it's a very responsible decision to make as well. All right. Be friendly with your bank. It's really important to be able to manage your money. And so one of the best ways to do that is to have and manage a checking account. Obviously you need to use an old school checking checkbook like people used to use, but you can use your debit card now. But start getting to know, if you are in a small community, get to know your banker. That does really help, because if you have any financial questions, it makes it a very easy way to sit down and just talk with them and ask questions. But also always keep track of how much money is in your account. Be aware of what your bank's policy is on overdraft fees. Are you going to owe money if you overdraft, if you spend too much money and the money is not actually in your checking account. Also consider having a savings account. It's pretty easy to have a savings account these days. You usually only need, some places, I think it's only $25, $50 to start a savings account. So consider starting up a savings account and just putting a little bit in when you can. That will build up slowly over time, but it'll become a nice little nest egg that we will have when the time comes and you need it. So speaking of savings, start today. Find easy ways to put your money away. I've heard of different ways, like never spend a $5 bill. Always $5 bills go into the bank for your savings. Never spend change. Only use paper money, and then all your change goes into a jar, which goes into savings. Always just putting $10 right off the top of your paycheck right into savings, no matter what. Those are easy ways to start saving right now. There are even ways that you could start saving and earning money right now, through bank accounts where you would be basically investing, and you could go to somebody like Edward Jones or Charles Schwab, one of those types of investment companies. And not only would you be saving money, but you would be earning money while you're in college. So look into those options. You can talk with a local banker as well to talk with them to see if that's a viable option for you. But no matter what, when you have money in savings, don't touch it unless it's really an emergency. It can be so easy to be like, you know what, I need $10 and I know I have 500 sitting in the bank, so I'm just going to go get $10 so I can, go get some coffee with some friends after class today. But don't touch it unless you truly need it, because when those emergency expenses do come up, it's good to know that that full $500 is there. And then finally, no matter what you're doing with your money, whether you're saving it, spending it, dealing with your financial aid, always take time to make the best decision. Don't make rash decisions. Don't make those fast decisions and say, I'll figure it out later. It can be very tempting just to say, oh, we're just going to do this real quick. But don't do that. Be responsible. Think through what are the pros and cons of a decision, because your financial decisions between the ages of 18 and 21 really do make a very big difference in how the rest of your life will go. Kind of sounds daunting, but it's one of those things that the consequences or the benefits of your actions really do make an impact. So, how many loans you take out for college, and if you overdraw, you overtake loans because you want to have a little bit more cushiony living, but you didn't need that much money, you're going to wind up having to pay all that extra back. So, that's not a very responsible decision. But maybe door dashing on the weekends when you're not studying, maybe, that's a very responsible decision if you have a car and you have the ability to do that. So do what's best for you, be responsible, go speak to somebody that you admire and look up to. Somebody at your college or your university, a TRIO staff member, an instructor, somebody who has life experience when you have money questions, a banker, any of those types of people, because they'll be able to help you, because they've probably been in your shoes before. And they'll be happy to help you make some of those decisions or just guide you through the process so you can make the best decision. The final Shifting Gears survey must be completed by Friday at 5 p.m. in order to be eligible for the Google Mini Home. Shifting Gears from High School to College is brought to you by TRIO Talent Search and TRIO Upward Bound. Find more resources at QAnawTrio.org.